So Carl Ann here is going ahead and getting the bacon done to do the bacon wrapped asparagus. There's the bacon. And there's the asparagus. Beautiful.
It's off and getting it started. The asparagus, we nuked it in the microwave for about a minute with just a little olive oil, kind of medium amount of black pepper, and just a tiny bit of salt, because these are salty.
So you want that to be just the right consistency and softness to wrap around the asparagus?
Yeah, so we want it partially cooked. Mo is the big chef, I'm just the sous chef. He said you want these to be clear, so we're going to cook them a little bit longer. And we're going to wrap half the asparagus and leave half unwrapped so people can kind of pick and choose.
That sounds delicious.
Did muck diving. So what they do is you go along in the muddy bottom and you would you'd have a couple of like little aluminum rods like those tent poles, and you'd squeeze the seaweed and ghost shrimp would come out and all kinds of different stuff. There's all kinds of, you know, they called it macro, but I think it's micro, you know.
It's small,
Yeah.
So the muck is because the silt comes up?
Well, the muck where we were was from the volcano. There was all volcanic sand. It actually covered the reef.
In Bali?
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a great trip.
The best part was in Borneo. We stayed in Borneo. We stayed on a houseboat that had like a 5-star chef on it.
Oh my.
And we just ate and, you know, saw the wildlife. It was wonderful.
And so there's more in Borneo than just jungle, right?
Yeah, there's also great scuba diving there too, you know, all through from Bali all the way to Sulawesi, you know, there's all kinds of...
So how many days did you spend in Borneo?
We spent 4 days in Borneo on a river trip. We spent 5 days in Bunaken Island. We spent 4 days in
Bali?
In Bali, and then we spent another 4 days in Singapore.
Oh wow!
So
nice
it
trip.
was really fun.
Are you done with the jet lag yet?
No, not really. You know, we're still turned around. It was much easier going.
I have no room for us there either, right? So
than coming.
A little bit of the grease off.
I see what you mean by them being kind of transparent.
Yeah, so these guys are kind of half done, and then we're going to wrap the asparagus in these guys. I'm just trying to get a little bit of the grease off, and then we're going to finish them on the barbecue.
Well, you know, now Carl Ann, we have this one guy on the shooting community on YouTube, right? His call name on YouTube is Loads of Bacon.
He likes bacon.
Yeah, and he goes with the idea that everything goes better with bacon.
It does. That's true.
So, Loads of Bacon, this is all for you.
Yeah. I'm going to wrap the asparagus with the partially cooked bacon and just kind of drape it around it. And then Mo's going to take them from there and put them on the barbecue.
Now, you know, that looks very similar to a process called Damascus. Damascus barrels.
Yeah, Damascus barrels.
Yeah, they take a mandrel like that piece of asparagus, and then they heat up this piece of iron, and they wrap the iron around the mandrel just like they're doing with the asparagus. And by doing that, they can get a barrel called a Damascus barrel.
So it makes the barrel stronger?
No, actually, it's one of the weaker ways to make a barrel.
Huh.
People who have the Damascus barrels have to be careful. They don't put too much power.
So they don't split.
Yeah. But that's exactly the way a Damascus barrel is made. So all you shooters and reloaders out there, we're doing Damascus barrels. Uh-oh.
Asparagus barrels.
I think that violates the new YouTube guidelines. We better not say anything else about this. So forget I said that. Now, a great technique is to anchor the bacon with a toothpick when you do the wrap, that way you can get a nice wrap.
Otherwise it kind of falls off.
Now, notice that the rifling twist there is clockwise. It looks like one turn in 3 inches. With that kind of rifling twist, Carlin, you can stabilize almost any bullet in existence.
Got to cover the asparagus.
Barrel making, asparagus way.
Ready to go. These guys are going to go on the grill and get finished off, and so are those. So people can have bacon wrapped ones, or people can have plain
Or
ones.
plain.
Yep.
Give them a choice.
Yep.
Always good to have a choice.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, they look delicious. I got my dibs on a couple of these already. Meanwhile, Juan's gonna make some of his famous guacamole, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, there you go. See, I've learned. Been hanging around you for long enough to know.
When the guacamole's coming along, huh?
Yeah, this looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, part of the clue is that you're using so many.
Ah, well, there's a lot of us.
That's true.
What was his name again?
Yeah, so since there's a lot of us,
We have some chips also for that.
There you go. It'll be a cheap meal.
The lemon juice goes into the guacamole. So, all three are gonna go in?
Maybe. Depends on how juicy they are.
Ah, okay.
So what you do is after you add the lemon, you want to kind of stir it around a little bit. And I like my guacamole to be creamy. So if it's feeling creamy, then that's plenty of juice. Obviously, it's not creamy right now. It's a little too chunky still. So, we have no lemon.
Beautiful. Okay, that's the creamy style, and then the onions and the garlic will go in.
They have parks.
Seems like everybody's got their own different, menu
Oh yeah.
for guacamole.
Oh yeah.
Nice small dicing.
Yeah, fairly small. I knew a guy who diced them so tiny, because he really didn't like onions. It's pretty amazing how small he could get them.
Well, why didn't he just use onion juice?
Because a lot of times they have preservatives on them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he still liked the flavor it added, he just didn't want to taste the onion.
So gang, this is 4 avocados.
How about that size right
Good sized avocados. And then 2 lemons, right? You use 2 lemons.
Oh yeah, 2.
2 lemons.
But that's going to be up to taste. People who like the lemon flavors, people that don't.
And then part of 1 onion.
Right.
Add the onions and mix nicely. And your guacamole is so good.
Thank you.
We're gonna overeat tonight, you know that, don't you?
Of course. That's the hope and the idea.
Meanwhile, Mo's got the steaks and the bacon wrapped asparagus and onto the grill. Okay, so there's the grill and it's already at 480 degrees. Potatoes are already going. A little bit of anti-stick. What do you mean your time is over? Because everything's done with computers now?
No, I went through that, but when I say my time is over, what I'm really saying is that all I'm really good for is talking about work now.
Well, you've paid your dues, Mo. I mean, that's okay. Completely okay. Is this a butternut squash?
Yeah.
And there are the steaks. And those are gargantuan steaks.
Yeah,
Who bought
they are.
these rascals?
They said they just came out of...
Oh, the squash looking good. Let me grab one and help you. Look at those superior grill marks. Would you call that flame broiling?
Yep, that's what we want to do.
My, look at that. Oh,
Very close.
yeah. And there's the butternut squash. Just had some neighbors come by because they're smelling all the fragrances and aromas wafting over there. Steaks are done. Oh, gorgeous. And more steaks going on the grill. And those steaks are wallopers. They gotta be a little more than an inch thick. Now, are those for people who like it a little bit more done?
Yeah.
There are the bacon-wrapped asparagus. Loads of bacon. There you go. Well, you never know what you learn over a grill. So now I really picked up a lot of information about what case hardening actually is from someone who really knows because he was in the business.
So what they do is that they coat the outside of the steel with carbon, and one way that they do that is they take an acetylene torch and they turn the oxygen off and they just smoke the material, and they'll smoke it, and what they're doing is they're putting carbon on it, and then they heat it up to just before the melting point of the steel. And at that point, it's and then they quench it. Now, because the carbon is on the outside, what happens is that the case hardening penetrates, and it hardens the exterior, and it leaves a soft interior which is flexible, and that's case hardening. And you can do that with steels that are of low carbon content, and you can get them to come to the hardness of a steel with a very high carbon content.
Beautiful.
You don't want to...
Juan just came out and gave us a guacamole tostada. Guacamole tostada. So anyway, case hardening, is that an expensive procedure?
No. But there's more technical ways to case harden things, where they'll have like the way of a lathe bed or something, a slide on a machine tool, and they'll heat it with an induction coil so that it's very hot on the exterior, but it's cooler on the interior. And when you quench it, you know, and they'll smoke it with carbon, you know, and then when you quench it, the inside of the lathe bed is soft, so if it moves around or there's stress on it, it'll be able to survive without cracking. And they do it in a lot of different ways, you know. They do it with an electrical process, an induction process, just with a torch. And it used to be that when you case hardened something or you heat treated it, first you heated it and then you put the smoke on it and then you encased it into a powder that was cyanide. And that cyanide, then once you heated it and quenched it, it provided a cover on the outside, and there was no scale or slag, and then you didn't impact the exterior shape. If you pre-ground it, it would be very close to finish grinding when you were done. It's quite a good idea.
And if they overdid the heating, they would just melt the part, right? That would be a very bad thing to happen.
Right.
Okay, now the regular asparagus is going on the grill. That's hot. You know, it's nice to have a lot of grill surface, isn't it?
It's wonderful. I grill on a grill that's a third this size.
Well, carnivores of the world unite, because today is your day. Today is your day for carnivores. However, you gotta choose the right width of asparagus to do the flex test properly, unless I missed my guess.
Well, see that one, it could probably use a little more, but if you grill them too hard, nobody likes them but me.
I think most people like the asparagus to still have some texture, so that looks like it's probably perfect. Good. I'll take these in. There's our pineapple.
Scared and screaming and crying, and I told the girls, "You're okay. You might be a little nervous, but we're fine because we were so far away already. The sharks were there." I said, "The sharks are distracted already with that blood in the water. They don't even know what it is. They just can smell it. But we're not even there. We're gone.
Yeah.
So they were not gonna pay attention to us. They want to be there." Yeah. So when the boat came and picked us up, I mean, the captain's like, can I talk to you tomorrow? Yeah, we can talk. We can have breakfast. It's okay. And I told him that you better fire this idiot.
Yeah, it sounds like he put you guys all at risk.
It put everyone at risk by doing this.
Well, you went out on those shark expeditions in the Fairlawns, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. We threw bait for hours.
Chumming. You were chumming. Yeah.
Trying to get them to come. And the first shark we caught was a little mako, and she was pissed. Oh, she was pissed. They caught her, and we brought her on board. We tagged her and weighed her and measured her 10 ways from Sunday. She was really pissed. And they put a marker tag on her, a radio tag, so they could transpond her, so they could follow her, and they chucked her back in. She was gone. She was pissed. And then the blues came, and the big blue sharks will go past you, 6, 7, 8 foot long, and they'll roll their eye as they go by to kind of see you as they go by. And they had the swim step that was on a chain was electrolysizing in the water, so they're confused by the electrolysis from the water, and they would just come by and see if you had anything. If you didn't have anything, like, you're useless. So they'd give you a little PVC stick to kind of wave at them to get them to go away. And I'm like, well, I don't want them to go away. I want a picture. So they'd come
Can you
by.
pose, please?
Well, they'd come by,
smile.
and I'd swim around in front of them because they're going to move. I don't have anything, so I could take a picture. And the next thing I see is a big white stick in the picture, and the dive master is saving me. I turned around and looked at him, and I'm like,
How'd it feel?
"Go away! Just go away! You ruined my shot." So the number of people that were on, you could only have half the boat in the water at a time, and then they'd pull you out because we're just in open water. There's nothing around. We're just in open water, and as we're getting out and another group is getting ready to come in, one of the blues came up to the swim step because they were confused by the electrolysis from the water. And the swim step had 2 chains on the side to pull it up, to ratchet it in, to pull it up out of the water while they were motoring along. He got confused, and the chain goes to the boat, and the swim step's right here. He came up this way and got stuck.
Oh boy.
So he's kind of sitting there, trying to figure out how to move back. And one of the other divers stuck his foot on his nose and just shoved him back in. And it's not like he was trying to get anybody. He was confused because they were chumming right off the side right there with pieces of, they had a big frozen fish barrel of chum. And they'd come by and kind of chew on pieces, and pieces would fall off. But it was right next to that corner of the boat. It's like, it wasn't any big deal. He wasn't coming anywhere near us. He was after the bait.
Now, how about leopard sharks? I heard that they're kind of dangerous.
We haven't seen any, have
I
we?
haven't seen a leopard shark. The most interesting shark that I saw was the bull sharks, and that was in Nicaragua. They go up,
And
they can live in the fresh water. Yeah,
500 miles into fresh water. They're
Yeah.
dangerous. Hey.
they can live in fresh water.
Yeah.
In Australia, there are a lot of tanks and lakes because they go all the way to fresh water.
Yeah, we used to find the little horn sharks in Catalina and pick them up and kind of go, shark!
And before school, below Carolina Island, into the Sea of Cortez, I saw the biggest shark ever seen in my life. We were in the middle of nowhere. We were like at 20 miles out. They chump a little bit, so they get a bucket with holes, and they put some chum there and let it float. And they don't move. Nobody moves until you can see the huge fins coming out of the water. Boom! Hit that boat. The guy said, "Time to dress up."
Yeah, straight out of
And I
Jaws.
said, "Are we gonna go in a cage?" I said,
Dun,
No cage.
dun, dun,
Okay.
dun, dun.
Yeah, they did that to us in the fair
"It's like,
lines.
you guys can't be in a cage."
Yeah, no
Well,
cage.
sucker get pissed off in that cage, or you can't get out of the cage. They'll rip the cage.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and the guy said, "We'll give it little harpoons or defense for you guys. Do not point it." So we went there. We're floating. We went like a 50 feet, and man, the suckers are like 10-footer, 12-footer, some big ones. But they're just swimming along, or you just floating there, and we just you set your buoyancy, you just float, and the shark goes by.
He went by and disappeared because you can look down at that. When you look down, and it's 1,000 feet deep.
You can see.
Yeah. You see, that's when all the really creepy things come out.
You're going,
That's why I went to see
my toes."
Cortez at night when I see the squids.
Yeah, that's
That I-
supposed to be very cool.
I would love to see that. I haven't seen that. And the one that I want to see too is at Galapagos Island, the hammer shark gathering that they have. There's like 1,000 hammer sharks comes in.
Yep.
I haven't seen that. I would love to see that because it's incredible.
They have that in the Maldives too. They have the hammerhead.
It had to be incredible. But the Sea Cortez, those red, the fluorescent shrimps, I mean, they're 3 foot long.
Have you seen an electric clam? We saw an electric clam for the first time. It
In
looks like a
Indonesia.
clam. It's a bivalve, and it has orange little frills for lips going both ways. And if you look at the lips, there's a blue current going
Oh, that's
across it.
cool.
Wow.
But it's luminescence.
It's
not-
bioluminescence. It's not
Wow.
technically electric. Because I was going, wonder
Should
what
I
voltage
touch
that
that?
is.
Yeah.
Can I connect my phone to this?
Yeah, can I put my finger in there?
Is it USB compatible?
Yeah.
Let's try this.
So Mo, tell me something about the bang stick. What kind of shell did you put inside those things?
It had a 12-gauge shell in it.
Wow.
It was a shotgun shell.
Yeah.
It had a 12-gauge load, and it had like buckshot. So there was maybe 3 buckshots, and
Yeah. So it's supposed to blow a hole in the side of the shark.
Yeah, it kills it.
Yeah, you point it right at its nose and
It kills it.
You're done.
Wow.
It's done right there.
it's over.
And they made it illegal for what reason? It's because it's too dangerous?
Because it's mean. You don't need
Oh.
to do that.
Ah.
All you have to do is bop them on the nose with a stick and they're gone.
Well, if you...
Yeah, you know,
close
when
enough.
I was in dive class, they would tell me the same thing. But the minute I got, you know, at that point, I didn't have a whole lot of money. So I went out and bought a bang stick the minute I got the money to buy it.
Because the bang
It
stick
was-
was so much cheaper than
So,
a piece of
but-
PVC pipe.
Did you have to turn the bang stick in
No,
when
but
they
it's
made
more
it?
effective.
When it was illegal, did you have to turn it in?
Well, the first thing I did is take it apart and then
Of course. They
Make
made
it better.
launch the bullet out of it.
Get a 50 cal through it.
You gotta fix it and make it better.
It's a 50 cal instead of shell against
blow
shell.
his foot off.
You know, in Belize, I used to go lobster fishing with a guy, and what he had was a CO2 spear gun, single handheld, and he would just poke under the the reef and shoot them. Well, I had like the alternative rig, which is the best rig. I had a stick about that long, and I had a hook on it. And you just reach behind the lobster and pull them out, and stick them in your bag. And we would go out lobstering every day,
Now you're not allowed to do that.
Oh no, you can't.
You can't.
First of all, everything
tools.
is protected.
No tools.
There
You know those things that you buy here to buy the boxes?
pick
The
up
two-
garbage.
They
yeah.
got 4 fingers.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw one guy in Hawaii doing that for lobster.
oh, yeah,
the
Grab
like-
a stick.
yeah, grab the
Yeah.
lobster.
I was cracking up underwater
Yeah.
because we try reaching and grab because they don't have
Oh, there you go.
claws in Hawaii,
Perfect.
so you can just grab it and put them in
Where'd
the
you find
But
that?
it's the same thing on the coast of California. No
Is that
claws.
eBay? Who's that?
And they're the real lobsters. The
Where's
ones
that
with the
Amazon?
claws are
Where's
crayfish.
that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I just Googled
Because I
So we're just finishing dinner, and Kiki here doesn't know what to do with herself. So what she does is she's making this work of art. Only problem is it looks like some kind of real dangerous punji steak or something to be used for guerrilla warfare.
ooh,
Anyway, Kiki, you got a mean streak. Yeah, you got a mean streak in you,
the flea
Kiki.
circus.
What do you think? What were you thinking when you made this thing?
That it looks cool.
It gives me the willies. I'm getting nightmares.